video, we're going to continue explore some more tools in Figma, right? We're going to talk about the things we covered in previous class and in this class. So these tools will be helpful for your project. So first of all, for example, this is your project document, and we can add multiple pages here, right? So for example, here is your final interface design. If you are designing an app, you're going to so let's select the frame and let's just copy some frames. Just for example, this is your final design, right? And you can add another page for icons, right? Click here to add a page. So for example, this is for your icon design, and you're designing all of your icon you're going to use in the interface design here on the separate page, and you can copy this one to your final design, right? So you can create as much as you want, right? You can create a lot of pages. Yeah, so you can keep all of your design elements for one project in the same document. So actually we're going to delete the 3 pages here. So now today first we're going to talk about the icon design. So the standard icon size for any interface design would be 16 by 16 or 24 by 24 or 32 by 32, 48 by 48. But make sure you're following this size standard when you are trying to build icons for your design. So well, today I'm going to demo several icons. Yeah, so just show you the way I'm doing that. Probably there are multiple ways you can do that. Yeah, then we'll so now we can get practice together. So actually I'm going to, so you do not have to follow me this step. So actually I got more icons here. I want to copy them into our practice file, right? Because I just find we miss several of them, so I just copy it back. Great. So these are just examples. So when you are starting creating a project, you will always adding frames for that. So we're going to demo the 24 by 24 icon. Okay, so I'm going to click on the screen. Okay, it's pretty huge. So we're going to change the layout here into 24 by 24. So our icons should be smaller, right? So from the so each icon will be stay in one frame, right? So for this one, this is for the home page icon. So just call it home page. It's a little tiny house. So I'm going to copy another page. On this page, we're going to do a contact. For example, it's a contact icon, right? And the third one would be a coffee icon. So here are our frames, but we're going to add a grid for that to keep your layout more structured, more organized, right? So home page layout grid, and you can see it just apply a grid here, but we will need to change the number because our icon is the frame is quite small. We're going to click on here, and we will set I want it to be 1. So 1, yes, it works pretty well on this page. So another thing I want to do is I want to keep each one of my icons inside borders, right? Let's set up a border for the frames. We can add layout grid here. So for this one, let's try to columns, and I'm going to add on the unit would be 2 because I want to leave a two grid border like this. So we still need the the rows, right? So we add another types of grid. This time let's select the rows. So the number of the rows would be 2 also. So this is on the border of the icon. So you can see, just put this one as example. So I just want to keep all of my icons inside the borders, right? To keep the structure looks nice. So actually I will copy from here, so I can still copy the grid I built. Okay, so let's just get started. Yeah, so first of all, I'm going to show you several things. First, if we have a square here, if you double click, you can always add icons at the center of the line, right? You can just add as many as you want, right? Just keep adding. So now you can also drag one of the points and move it. So if I will always suggest you to hold on the shift key and drag, so it will always keep your shift key will always help you keep the form more structured and make it symmetrical, right? So if you're not holding the shift key, when you drag it, it's just very easy to shift left and right. Hold on the shift key, it just help it to move in a vertical way. Yes. So another thing is when you are, let's take the circle as example. When you have the curved line, you will have these handles, right? The same thing as if you use the pen tool to draw something. To draw a curve. Okay. Going to delete this one. If you use the curved pen tool to draw a curve, you will have these handles, right? So we can drag the handles to control the form of your design. Yeah, so now it's no mirroring. So if we said we want the handle to be mirror, angle, and length. Okay, so what happens is when I drag one of the handle, one side, the left side is moving together. So it's easier for you to get a symmetrical shape, right? So if it's not mirroring, what's happening is only one side is moving, right? For the other side, I have to drag it and again. So if you want to keep your shape symmetrical, I will always suggest you to mirror your angle and length, right? So it's easier for you to get a symmetrical shape. Nice. Yeah, so another thing we want to talk about is just find a nice example, right? So we can, if these 2 points is not aligned well, we can select the shift and select the both points, and we can make them align bottom, right? You can see the 2 points there aligned again. So just as when we aligned any elements, make them bottom align. Yeah, so this is a stroke, right? We can also change the stroke from here. We can change it into we can give it a round cap for the left and a round cap for the right. And we can also set the style for your stroke. Apply styles and variables. Click on here. Customize. Oh, sorry, I think what I talk about is here, right? It's not here. Sorry about that. Click on here and you can set the stroke style. You can give it, if you want a dash line, you can also do that. Right, and you can set up on the dash you want. Yes, and you can select on the cap, the style of the cap. Yeah, you can always try to play with that. So the drawing is, if we do something like this, and we go to the stroke settings here. So for the drawing, you can choose a bevel, you can choose a round, right? You can see the difference showing up here. So it just really depends on what kind of style you're looking for. Yes. So the next thing is when you are doing you're connecting those points together, you can double click to move them together, right? Yes, and also once you have, let's change it into a normal. Once you have a sharp angle, if you want to turn it into round, hold on the command key and click on the angle, and you can see it just give you a round angle here. Hold on command, click, right? You got a round. If you click hold on command, click again, it just went back to the sharp angle again. Right, so that's something about the command key you can use in here. Also the same thing here, right? If you hold on command key, let's add a point first. Command key, drag it and hold command key and click on the points, and you got a nice curved line. Yeah. So another thing we want to talk about is, let's explore the union selection, subtract selection. I know most of you already do the same thing in Illustrator, have experienced the same thing in Illustrator, right? So if you got the two shapes here, if we select union selection, it will be union into one shape. So we can also command Z, go back. We can also make them subtract, right? So this is another way we can build different types of shapes. Intersect, right? Yeah, so also if you have a circle, you can see you can change the arc here by dragging the small white points. I think that's the same thing for the star, right? If you got a star, you can change the form by dragging the little white icon here. Yes, and from here you can change the count of the points. You can also change it here, right? Ooh, that's quite fun. Yeah, nice. So I think that's some tips about building the icons. So let's do some examples. Okay, so first of all, I want to get rid of those. So Oh yes, so if you want to remember some shortcut key, a way you can do that is you can click on help and resources, and you can go to say I want to see keyboard shortcut key. You can see here are all the regular shortcut key for Figma displaying here for you to look at. So if you forgot any of them, you can check out from here. Yeah, so first of all, let's try to build a house. Right, so we already start with a rectangle, and we're going to double click and add anchor point at the middle point. Okay, the thing is, okay, now make sure that your design will keep inside the border, right? Add a center point, and remember we said we have to hold on the shift key and to move it. Yeah, so you can also, if I want to move these 2 points together, hold on the shift key, click on the left anchor point, click on the right anchor point, and you can just move them together, right? Move them, hold on shift key, move them up, move them down. Yes, just depends on the design preference. Yeah, so it's very easy to have a house shape, right? So from this point, we need a gap here. The first way you can do that is, let's add another triangle here, and we select both and we subtract it, right? Then we get the gap here. So another way probably is more complicated, but we can try to do that. Is we double click and we add anchor point at below. Okay, below we have to get enough anchor point here. Yes, so in this way we can hold on shift and select middle 3 and hold on shift key to drag it. Right, and we can still adjust it after we drag them. Right, we can drag them, just adjust until you like the results. Hold on shift key, 2 of them, hold on the shift key, the other 2 of them. Yeah, sometimes it's kind of hard to pick those small points. Yeah, so the 2 ways both works well. So now we will need to add some let's just apply a corner radius, dragging. Yeah, so you do not have to enter the number every time. Instead, you can just click here and click and drag, right, until you like the results. Yeah, so if you can see now it's not attaching the borders, but we can always double click and just drag it a little bit to make it touching the borders well. Yeah. So now we can add the change the fill into black, so you can better see that, and we can add a black stroke for that. So we can, if we don't need the fill anymore, we can just cancel it by clicking here, and we can change the width of the stroke, give it a lot thicker, right? Yeah. So this is a way we can build a home page icon. So now let's try to build a contact icon, right? So let's double click. I'm going to change the name. So this one, let's start with a circle. Yes, and we can, so for this part, actually what we can do is we can do a triangle first, right? Can just rotate it. Okay, so sometimes if it's not matching well, you can double click and pick the points to make it match with the way you want. So yeah, so for two of the shapes, we can select them all and we can union the selection, so it turns into one shape. And we're going to give it a stroke, and we want to cancel the fill. For the stroke, I still want to use 2, right? Because this one is 2. For the same project, while designing icons, we need to keep the consistency. If you keep this style, all of those other icons should be the width should be 2, right? Okay. So let's try to hold on Command key to apply a round corner for that. But if it doesn't look in the way you like, Command Z, we can still just do it here, right? Do 1. Okay. Drag it. Can change these two sides. So, okay, no. Probably we have to apply it for the whole shape. Yeah, so now it works well, right? So click on the whole shape to apply with a curve. Yeah, so now let's try to draw the phone inside. Okay, so let's start with a rectangle. Double click, add anchor point. Yes, hold down the Shift key, select the 3 at the middle point, and hold on the Shift key to drag. Yeah, sometimes you have to do it another time. Okay, we lose 1. Hold down Shift and drag. Yeah, hold on the Shift key. Yes, and then we have to make sure they are aligned. And it's a symmetrical shape. Yeah, and then we can add another one here because we want to drag it to have a curve. So this is the time we use the Command key, right? So if you hold the Command key and click on the points here, we can see it turns into a curved line, which is very convenient. Shift key, drag down, hold on Command key, give it a curve also. Here we go, right? So if you hold on the Command key, click another time on it, it will just goes back to the original version. Hold on Command, click, turns back into the curve, right? Always play with the Command key. Yeah, and we can for the other angles, let's just apply another number, probably 1. Yeah, works pretty good to me. Yeah, so you can always adjust the form in the way you like. Yes, probably the demo is not the perfect one, but yeah, just to give you a general idea that how you can use those tools. Right, can drag those anchor point to change the form. Yes, I'm just going to stop here with this one because we have more to demo. Yes, but you can try to take some time to make it looks perfect, right? Yes, make sure it's displayed at the center point. Yes, so now let's do the coffee one. Seems like it looks more easier, right? Coffee. Okay, so I'm just going to start here. So if you double click, hold on shift key, select the left point, select the right point, and we're going to drag to give it a corner radius. You can see this is a really fast way you can get the shape. Yes, and you can always drag to make it longer, and we will give it a bottom. Make it seated on here. Okay, so for this one, we still want a round corner, and we're going to union two of them, the selection, and change it into black. Yes, and we need a handle here, right? For the handle, we're going to start with ellipse, the circle tool. Yeah, the thing is we want the stroke, and we don't want the fill, and we want the stroke to be 2, right? And we should just display it here. Yeah, the same thing as if you want a semicircle, you can always drag to cut it. Okay, for me now it looks good. So now we need the 2 smokes. For the smoke, I'm going to use let's use the pen tool to do that. Click and drag to give it a curve, just like what we did in Illustrator, right? Click and drag to have the curve. Yes, so for this one, I would want it to have we want a round, make the style into round. Great. And I still want the stroke to be 2. Yeah, probably you can decide the curve in the way you like. Yes, and we want another one. Right, so now it looks pretty good. Yeah, so now is profile. Let's see, probably a profile icon. Look like a little person icon here. So we can start with a circle, and we can fill it with black, and we add a stroke 2, and we cancel the fill. Yes, and we start with a rectangle, and we still want the rectangle to be outline, and we cancel the fill. Maybe we don't need it to be that wide. Right, and we can add another anchor point, and we hold on shift to drag it, and we hold on, we click on the command key and apply a curve for that, right? Yes, actually, if we want to do the similar thing as the example, we probably need to add an anchor point, add another one on the side, and we drag it, drag it. here, Command key turns it into a curve. Command key turns it into a curve. Right, so we can also apply with radius for the bottom 2 points. So now let's try the last. Let's continue try this one. Delete. Yeah, so this one looks much easier, right? You can just draw a rectangle and hold down radius, turns the 4 points into a round corner, and the stroke would be 2, and we do not need a fill. Yes, we can have more corners. Okay, so you can use the pen tool to drag, make sure it's at the center point. Hold down Command key, turn it into a curve. Yes, actually, okay, so we want to make it, you can make it higher. So for the handle, I can just use the pen tool. Draw something like this, draw it. Yes, and make it into a curve. Drag it. Yeah. Yeah, somehow look like that, right? So if you dislike the form, like you can always change the icons in the way you want, right, by using those tools. So mine is not very perfect. It's just a quick example, right? So let's do a location icon. So this is another one we practiced in class, right? So I ask you to practice yourself, and right, yeah. So let's see how to do that in an easier way. Let's do a circle first. Double click. Okay, actually we can do the circle first. So we can Command C, Command V, which means we copy and paste another circle at the front, and we hold Option Shift key and drag it towards the center point. Right, so we got a smaller one at the top above and the one at the back. So we select both two of them and we do a subtract. We double click, and we hold on Shift key to drag a handle here. Yes, and then we can just move the handles towards the center, right? A way we can do that is actually we can select the handle and we want to make sure it's mirror, angle, and length. In this way, when I drag the handle, both sides is moving togetherly, right? So if I only, so if it's not mirroring, what happening is when I'm doing anything here, only one side is changing, the other side is not. But if I want it to be mirror and length, when I change one handle, the other side is changing together, right? So it's a better way to help you to do to build a symmetrical shape. Actually, we can select both and make them larger. Okay, double click, make it right, yeah, and we can give it a black color, right? So this is a really fast way to do that. Yes, for the heart here, something like this, right? So we're going to use the pen tool, just to kind of draw something like this, and I'm going to just increase the not the curve, the width of the stroke, right? Probably it's not, doesn't look well right now, but we're going to change the start point into both sides of the start point into round. Okay, into round, the other side into round as well. Yeah, we can move it together. So now you see it's a shape of the heart. Yeah, actually if it doesn't look really good, we can just give a smaller, yeah, we can just give it a smaller, a shorter stroke. Right, you can drag the anchor point. Put it back, right? Yeah, so if we don't want, we can also change the width of the stroke to make it look smaller. Okay, the last one we're going to demo today is the setting icon. So for the setting icon, we can start with a small rectangle, and we can double click, to drag. Yes, so we'll go to this shape first. Then after that, we're going to Command C, Command V, and we're going to hold down the shift key to rotate it, right? Just place it here, and we're going to select both two of them, Command C, Command V, and hold on the shift key to rotate. Command C, Command V, hold the shift key to rotate. Yeah, the reason of holding the shift key is if you're not holding the shift key, it's just rotating, and it's hard for you to find the accurate degree when it's rotating. But if you're holding the shift key, it will just maintain to 45 degree when you are rotating, right? So it's easier to for example, so it's easier if Command C, Command V, if you're holding on the shift key, it's much easier to just help you find 118 degree. Hold on the shift key. Oh, sorry, the rotation will maintain to 15 degree, right? So it's easier for you to find some standard degree when you are rotating. You can see the change here. So when you're doing rotating in Figma, always hold on the shift key. Yeah, so right now we got all of these shapes here, so we can union them, union the selection. And we want a circle inside, so we go to the ellipse tool and draw a circle inside. So we want the circle to be centered, so we use the align tool. Okay, it's not working pretty well. Yeah, but we can find the center point ourselves. Yeah, so if you want the circle to be shrink towards center or extend or expand from the center, hold on the Option Shift key. Shrink, enlarge towards the center, right? Yeah, so then we can select both the gear and the circle, and we will do a subtract selection. Then we got the setting icon, right? And we can also give it a round radius. Probably let's try 1. If the 1 is still huge, you can just tap 0 point something. Actually, I'm going to increase enlarge to make it maintain inside the borders. Right, I can turn it white, turn it into black, and I give it radius. Right, yes. So here are some basic tools we are exploring to help you draw the icons in Figma. Right, some of them may not really perfect, but you can spend some time to adjust them in the way you want. Yeah, so this is the way you can create your own icon. Another place in Figma you can explore is let's go back to the files. So don't worry, Figma will always help you to save the files. So we'll go back to your files, you can see here, explore the community. So from here, let's go to design resources, let's go to UI kits. So from the UI kits, you can find a lot of free materials you can use. For example, let's just try this one. Try to open the iOS 18. Make a copy. Yeah, so from here you can see here are all the design UI elements of iOS 18, right? So this is something like a action box, a message box, right? You can see them appear on your iPhone. So if you are building an app, you need some of those elements showing up. You do not have to build them yourself, right? If you're doing a mock-up on Apple, on iPhone, right? You can always copy these elements to your design file, right? You can see here are more. Oh, here is a long list. Here is the keyboard, right? Yeah. Just you can always just copy them, Command C, and go back to your file, Command V, right? So actually, another thing I want to show you is if you want to find more icons for free use, you can just tap icon. Okay, so now you can see here are something like the free icons, icon pack you can use. Let's just open this one. Yeah, so you can see these are all the icons for free use. If you zoom in, you can double click, just copy one of, hold on shift, copy several of them, right? Just keep some, copy. Here are also, pick the one you need to use. Copy, Command C, and you can go back to files and find where is our practice. Here it is, right? And Command V. Here we go. Yeah. So now you can see those elements, they become yours. So you can also change the color for them, or you make some any adjustment based on your own preference, right? So you can see they still have the anchor point, they still have the handle. Yes, so that's some of this is another tip. You can get some free elements from Figma, but you can, yes, so you can also gain some inspirations from, I'm sorry, yes, here, explore community, right? So you can also find some inspirations from Figma. For example, I will see, are there any interface design? Okay, here it is, right? So you can see some designer, they publish their work in Figma, so they can, for you to just aim to inspire you, right? You can just see how they are designing a login page, how they are designing a profile, yes, right. Okay, so let's keep talking about, yes, how to cut a photo into the shape. So for example, I want a circle photo. The easiest way you can do that is I can just draw a circle first. Then from the view here, I'm going to select the image icon, upload from the computer, just randomly pick a image here, right? You can see you got a circle image. So this is one way you can do that. Another way probably is more complicated, but we can still talk about that. So we just need a photo here. Okay, it's coming out huge. Shrink it a little bit. Yes, and I'm going to this time, how about let's try a star. For example, I want a star shaped image, and I will right click to send the shape to the back. And yes, just to make sure the image is at the front while the shape is at the back. Select both of them, right click and use as a mask. Then you can see the image has been cut into a mask. So right now, if you double click on the image, you can just kind of determine which part of the image you want to show up in the star. right? You can. That's quite interesting. Exactly where. Yeah. So this is another thing we talked about in our class, right? So now let's move into the interface design page. I want to keep giving you some use helpful demo. So now I want to show you how to create a drop-down menu, or we said a message box for an app, for a kiosk, or for a website, right? So just for example, we got some elements here. Sorry, we don't need those. Why they are showing up? Okay, just for example, we got some design here, right? This is your app, and I want to design a message box, right? So I want to say when I click on this button, there is a message box appear, and I want to click outside to close the message box. So first of all, I'm going to create a new frame, but this time I'm going to create a really small frame in the size, just in the size of the message box, right? Showing up here. So bring it outside. So I'm going to the prototype. When I click on the first button, it will lead me to the frame. It will showing up this message box. So when I tap, okay, the trigger is tap. The action, instead of navigate to, this time we will select open overlay. So when we click on this button, there will be an overlay, and you can set up how do you want to overlay that, right? You can set up the position. So now it's centered, but if we can also do that manually. So we click on this one, and this box is for us to determine where do you want to display your message box. For example, here, right? Just want it to appear here. So you can still click on the options close by clicking outside, which means when I click outside, the message box will close. And I want to add a background to make my message box stand out. So actually we can. Okay, now let's just try that. Select the first page, go to percent. Here, right, I'm going to click on the first. Yeah, so here is our message box. So I click outside, it closed, right? So that's a really helpful, interesting navigation interaction here. So okay, so let's do what if I want to say when I click on this particular button, the message box will close. Let's go to the prototype again, and I will click on this little tiny box, and I will set an interaction for that. I will say when I tap on this little tiny button, the action is close the overlay, which means the overlay box will be closed when I click on this button. So let's test to see if it works well. Click, and I will click on the button. Yeah, it works, right? Click on the button to close. Yeah, so actually that's the same story if it's a drop-down menu, right? It should work in the same way. So just to make it looks real. For example, if it's a hamburger menu, usually when we tap on the hamburger menu, it will shows up a drop-down menu, especially for the phone, right? The side menu here. Just get the correct shape. right? It will be a side menu showing up, just for example. And just for example, there are a lot of options here you can select, right? So let's repeat the step again. Go into the prototype. When I click on the hamburger, I'm going to delete this one. And when I click on the hamburger menu, a drop down, another menu will appear, right? The side menu. So I'm going to action, change it into overlay, right? And I can just decide I want to display it right under the hamburger menu, someplace here, right? So you can decide on your own. Yeah, close when so usually the menu will close when I click outside. Let's see if it works well, right? Yeah. So yeah, so now I can still set if I want to keep building the navigation. I can say when I click on this button, it just move to the other page, navigate to another page. Yeah, nice, great. So this is another tips you can for the navigation you can use in Figma. So another very important navigation I want to show you is the I will always suggest you to add a go back button for your design. So now just let's build an arrow. Real quick. Make sure they are aligned. No, just align. And we're going to union the selection. This is a go back button. Okay. Place it here. Right. So I will just randomly add something on each page. Just make sure that it's just to let you know they're just something different pages. Need this one. So for example, this is the go back button. We'll go to the prototype and we build an interaction for the go back button. We'll say when we tap on the go back button, the action is it will just going back. Back means going to the previous pages, right? The page that you come from. Then I'm just going to copy this button to other pages, right? This one, Command V, right? So, right. So also make sure when you want to copy this, this go back button and paste it at exactly the same position as this one, you will need to click on the title page and Command V, right? You can see now they are at the same place, same spot. Click here, Command V. You can see they are displayed at exact the same spot as this one. Yeah, so the thing of Figma is when you copy an element, the prototype will copy together with the button, right? The go back button is everything is copied. Okay, so now let's build the interaction. Just test the go back button. So if I click on the first page, it leads me to this page. Click on the circle, lead me to the star page. Click on the star, lead me to the rectangle page. Yes, let's test if the go back button is worked or not. Going to present. Click. Yeah, it works. You see, click, go back. It's just a keep sending me back, right? So I suggest you to add a go back button on the page that needed, right? So in this way, you will not getting stuck at a page, right? It's not stuck at the page and you don't know how to go back, or you don't know how to move forward, right? So add a go back button, at least you can just go back all the way back to the home page. Yeah, so that's another tip you will want to use. So another tip is about the sticker sheet. So we got an icon design, we got our final design here. Well, we can also add a sticker sheet. I'm going to show you what's about sticker sheet. So first of all, we're going to add a large frame. Just don't have to be worried about the size. It could be any size, just a large, we need a large space here. So for the sticker sheet, actually we can, which means we can build the reusable elements here. So just some of the elements that you will use for like 10 or to 20 pages, right? So just for example, here is a button. Going to tab, just call it button. Okay, it's not shrink the size. Okay, doesn't well. Yeah, so for example, this is a button and going to give it a specific style. Yeah, just for example, this button, I'm going to use these elements on a lot of pages of my design. I'm going to copy multiple of them to show you the example. So because in the final design you will have a lot of pages of the screen design, right? It will be, sometimes it will be like 30 to 40 pages. For the reusable elements, if it will shows up multiple times, I will suggest you to design here first. Select it, and we're going to create component, right? So when it become a component, it will have a purple outline here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my reusable elements from the sticker sheet to the interface design page. Command V, right? So for example, these elements will just appear multiple times on my project, on this product, right? So every page has these elements, just for example. So whenever if I just change my mind, I want to make some changes to this design. We do not want to change them multiple times, right? We do not want to change them 10, 20 times for each. So if you copy that one from your sticker sheet to here, what you can do is you can only make change to these elements on the sticker sheet, right? So let's try to, for example, I want to change the color of the background. I want to change the color of the text, and I want to apply a round corner here. What's happening is if we go back to the interface design, all the elements is changing together, right? So in this way, we do not have, if we want to make changes, we don't have to just change them one by one. That's very annoying. So whenever you have reusable elements, you use it multiple times, I would suggest you to create here first, right? Remember how do we do that, right? When we get it, select the elements, and we will set create components, right? And make sure there is a purple outline there, and we just copy these elements into the design, right? And whenever we change it here, since we'll change it here. So that's the tips for the sticker sheet that will be helpful for your future creations. Another thing I want to show you is the I want to show you how to build some really simple animation in Figma. So we're just going to cover some really the simple one, right? So first let's do a frame. So first let's do a button also. So what I want to do is when I hovering my mouse on the button, I want it to change the color. So I want to do that animation. So first of all, when you have your first elements created, select it and right click, and we said we want a group selection, which means I want to turn this button, turn this elements into a frame. Then we just to make sure it's a frame, right? We have already turned it into a frame, because just like you're doing a frame by frame animation, we're going to Option Shift copy it. This is the second frame of the animation. So you will double click to change the color, right? So we want it to change into color like this. After that I have all the frames built. I will select the two frames and I will go to here, change it into a create component set. So then I'm going to the prototype, and I'm going to prototype the things inside the component set. Double click on the first frame, click, make it point to the second frame, which means, so this time the trigger, let's try the while hovering, right? Hovering the mouse, it will change to frame 3, which is the second frame here. The animation, to make the animation smoother, I will suggest you to select the Smart Animate. Right, so you can make some settings to the duration while I'm just keep the setting here. Now, for example, this is your screen design. We do not want two buttons to appear here, right? We want one button, first button to appear here. When we display our mouse on it, hovering it, it change the color. So I just move it outside the frame, and I'm going to add so I'm going to the assets here, and I'm going to double click on the library. So you can see I have assets here. Click here, component 1, double click, insert the instance. So it will only give me, shows up the first frame, right? So let's test what's happening here. Yeah, so if you can see now, if I place my mouse on it, it just changed the color in a very smooth way, because I set my animation into a smart animation. So this is how usually we build a hovering effect in the internet design, right? When we display our mouse on a particular button, it change the color. Yeah, so now let's build another animation. So let's try to build a loading animation, right? So I'm going to show you how to do that. Make sure we're going back to the design option here. The first frame, Command C, Command V, drag. Yeah. So I got my first frame done. So I'm going to right click and frame selection, make it as a frame. And I'm holding Option Shift to drag another one. Double click, drag the black bar. Just want it to slowly loading, and at last is low. So now I'm select all of them. I will say I want to create a component set. Yeah, so I'm going to double click on the first frame. Okay, go to the prototype, setting up the prototype, drag to point to the second one. So this time I'll, instead of click, I want to say I want to set it as after delay, because I want this animation just to play when it appears, right? I don't want to do any, I do not have to do any actions. I do not have to hover in or click. So I just, usually the loading bar will just appear, right? It just jump to there. You do not have to do any actions. Okay, so for the delay, already we just set it as 1, a really short one, right? Because we want it to continuing play those frames. Second frame point to the third frame, and we will trigger will be after delay. We'll change the delay into 1. The other one, drag it going to after delay. The delay is 1, right? Just to give it a really short time. Yeah, so I think that should be good for now. We're going to drag it outside of our screen, and you can see we got our second component here, right? This is our second component set, and when we insert it, only one bar will appear, only the first frame will appear, right? So I'll just play to see loading. Oh, you can see it works, right? It works pretty well. Let's play again to see. Yeah, it works well, right? Yes, so you can also change the duration time, right, to see the changes there. Yeah, so these are something we covered in class. Well, the last thing we talked about is how to add more fonts in Figma. Yes, so we talked about, we were going to the website called Figma Downloads, right? Figma Downloads, right? Figma Downloads, and you will see you will select the third one. If you're using a Mac, select the first. If you are using the Windows, select the second one, and download this installer to your laptop, right? So after you get it done, you may also search for some free fonts downloads. Right, you can just find the specific fonts you want to download. I will just explore this website as example, but you can choose other website to download, right? And you can just example this one, chilling downloads, and you got it installed on your laptop, and can double click and just install it. Right, yeah, so then if you get back to Figma, I opened a lot of windows here. Let's try to find design here and typography. Let's see if if it works. Okay, how about let's try this one. Know if sometimes it doesn't work well. Return. Okay, now select this one and installed. And you can see it works. Right, it works. Okay, how about let's try this one. Know if sometimes it doesn't work well. Return. Okay, now select this one and installed. And now Okay, so now you can see this is the one you just installed, right? You can use this one. You can use this particular fonts on your Figma. Yeah, so for the last thing we talk about is you can share your design with anyone. You can hit share, and you can copy the prototype link and open it, Command V. And you can see this is your prototype, right? Everything is there. So anyone who have your link can play with your prototype and see your design. Yeah, so here are some Figma tips we talked about during the class. Just hopefully you can review this video to get a refresh.